and the West Asia crisis had started on the 28th of February, this had impacted the Indian economy adversely. Even though a memorandum of understanding has been signed between the US and Iran, uncertainties still continue for India and also the rest of the world. There is relief for sure as crude oil prices have now fallen, but RBI Governor Sanjay Malhotra spoke exclusively to ET Now on the impact and how is the central bank really planning to deal with uncertainties so that India remains on the growth path. We asked him what happens if the crude prices go up again, and here's what he said.
If indeed crude spikes again, and if there is some sort of escalation which happens and the war doesn't have the desired resolution as we look at it today, how would you be forced to act?
See, as mentioned earlier, government and the OMCs, so it's not only, the prices, it's also, the pass-through.
Second round effects, yes.
The pass-through, first of all, the pass-through to the consumers, to the pump by the government and the OMCs. We have seen till now that there has been an increase of roughly about 8.5% in the retail prices. How it happens in case the prices were to again go up, we'll be prepared for every eventuality. I only hope, that it doesn't happen, and it's not in anyone's interest, I think. So while prices can remain slightly elevated, I do not think that they should now move in uncharted territory.
And amid the ongoing geopolitical uncertainties, RBI Governor Sanjay Malhotra spoke exclusively to the Times Network and said, even though there is elevated uncertainty, it is premature to talk about a rate hike. The Reserve Bank of India's Monetary Policy Committee kept interest rates unchanged at its meeting earlier this month, while maintaining the stance at neutral. RBI Governor also tells Times Network that if a hike was certain, then the RBI would have changed the stance from neutral to restrictive. But that did not happen. He also called the signals on US-India trade deal positive. Let's listen in.
Because there is elevated uncertainty. So I think it will be premature to talk about a rate hike. What we have said is that we are cautious, we are aware that there could be risks, both on inflation as well as on growth, especially, inflation, because it is hitting it could hit the upper band, and so we are cautious, and we will continue, to remain data dependent, and we'll take it, policy by policy.
Governor, before the West Asia crisis came, it was all about the trade deal. India and US are now closing on phase 1 of the agreement, hopefully. What does that mean for exports, for investment flows, and thereby even medium-term growth for the country?
Yeah, it's all positive. We hope there has been good progress made. A number of meetings have happened. I'm not aware of the details, first of all. So it will not be right, on my part to comment on the exact specifics. But obviously, as conditions, as the Honorable Minister said, we will not go forward. So obviously, it should be positive for both growth, for the external sector, for our balance of payments. Trade and investments go together. This is a trade deal, but trade and investments, go together. And so it should be good for investments as well.
And recently, wholesale inflation data came as a big shock as it crossed 9% in May. While speaking exclusively to ET Now, the RBI Governor Sanjay Malhotra said that retail inflation is still less than 4% and the RBI is keeping an eye on it. And he also said that the upside risks have now reduced. Let's listen in.
As of now, what we see is that the inflation still, less than 4%, 3.9%. Most of it, due to food. Core inflation is about 2+%, 2.4% or so. But yes, WPI did go up. It was 8.4 or so in April, 9.7 last month. So we are watching that. Again, there is a lot of concentration. A lot of the increases in WPI is because of fuel. Now, whether it generalizes or not is something that we have to wait and watch. That's why this policy, last policy, we said this in so many words that we are looking for we are looking as to whether or not it generalizes, and accordingly we take the next policy. We make the next policy move.
Given the fact that we have a resolution coming from West Asia, do you think the upside risk is now limited and it may come? It may be more, muted as against what you saw?
It certainly is positive news, as I said. We hope that this truce continues, and supplies of crude. See, it's quite. In a way, we had, $76 also, to a barrel. So this really, speaks about the resilience of the global economy. It will take some time for the supplies to restore fully. It's not immediate that will happen. And then there has been a lot of damage which has been caused. It will take time for all the infrastructure to come up. Inventories have gone down, and so inventories will have to be built up. A lot of the low prices that we saw is because there was kind of a demand curtailment. I will not call it a demand curtailment, and also because reserves were used, and so all the countries will be looking to replenish their reserves. So where this leaves us for crude prices for this whole year, we had assumed, of course, $95 to a barrel. Upside risks have certainly reduced, but we'll have to still wait and watch as to where crude prices ultimately end up.